know that I'm a self-proclaimed gangster. I'm from the mean streets of Westland, Oregon. And I've seen things and been through things that somebody like you in your little pearly loft couldn't even relate to. And if you're asking me to share stories with you that are frankly none of your business, maybe I'll give you a couple and maybe you'll take that little smug look off your face. But I can date back to when I was 11 years old. I'm minding my own business, and I'm in a park. This guy, stranger to me, takes a piece of gum out of his pocket, he puts his mouth, and he just throws the wrapper on the ground. There was a police officer standing right there. He didn't do anything. And I saw that. I had to see these things at a young age. Sure, somebody came along, somebody picked it up, somebody threw it in the trash can. But for the few moments where that sat on the ground and the law was violated right here in my neighborhood, you know, you look at me, there was years where my father didn't even make $100,000 or barely made $100,000. And sure, we had a maid, but she only came twice a week. What do you think happened the other 5 days? You think those dishes washed themselves? My neighbors were twins. They got a Mercedes for their birthday, but just one. They had to share that car. They had to share that car. Who gets to drive today? You haven't seen the things I've seen. You haven't been down that way. You haven't been to the mean streets of Westland, Oregon.
The things that you said about Brazilians, for example, Chael, where you're saying that while you were playing with computers, they were playing with mud. You understand how it is that some of that would be taken as race baiting. Do you not? No?
Dan, I've got a degree in sociology from the University of Oregon. Apparently you do not, because you're greatly mistaking race with ethnicity with nationality. If you said that I said it about Brazil, which is not a race, it's a nation, then you might want to run the tape back and not air this because you're going to look foolish in the presence of a genius.
What did you see when you watched that fight?
Look, Floyd needs to keep doing what he's doing, which is fighting complete tomato cans who we've never heard of before. I've never seen anybody in the history of America get so rich and so famous off of having complete wimps throwing punch at their faces. And I know what you're saying. You're saying, well, it's happened before. What about Rihanna? Shame on you, classless. I will not stand for that. I will not stand for that. But, however, boxing has a misconception. Too soon? Was it too soon?
Too soon.
Even for a Hall of
Too soon.
Famer. I do want to make this.
The way years work is whatever age you are, if years go by, you're now older. And it's one of those concepts, right? I mean, you either get it or you don't. It's one of those concepts that when you're a certain age, years later, you're no longer that age. You're now at a different age. And that age is known as older. I mean, see where this is relevant, right? The newest addition to the 185-pound weight class, and Hazmat Chimaev Kamar. Let me start with you.
Of the sport.
And Hazmat, to go over to you, you're taking the same risk. And Stan telling us about this young man in the training room named Hazmat Chimaev.
Could you imagine the excitement that Fedor must have right now? Could you imagine how bad he wants to reach out and touch the largest arm in Westland, Oregon that is sitting right next to him? Instead, people keep going to Wanderlei Silva. You want to hear Wanderlei Silva? You want to know how you could get as much tantalizing conversation from something as Wanderlei Silva? Just talk to my shoe. Just ask the shoe. What's it going to be like, shoe? What's it going to be like to walk into Madison Square Garden in front of a sold-out arena with the biggest box office in history because Bellator called the king? And you know what Wanderlei's going to say? Oh, garble, garble, garble. It's garble, 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 Mr. Sonnen!
Dana, hey, wait, I love the plug, but I haven't got to talk to you in a while. I got to tell you a new joke that's going around. What is 6 feet tall? What is 6 feet tall dashing and disappears in an instant?
What? Oh, he froze right at the punchline. He froze at the punchline. That's fucking brutal.
Just wondering if it's true that what Chael Sonnen said about feeding the bus a carrot when you first arrived in Las Vegas, if that happened or what actually happened that day?
Of course not. I hate that shit. I hate that shit, you know? Because I have a horses, you know. Always when I put a picture of the horses, someone go and make those questions for me. I hate that shit.
He's coming for
Guys,
you,
I'm a
dude.
big talker.
Do you really believe that Minotauro thought that a bus was a horse?
That happened. Now that happened. He stuck that carrot in the grill, and his brother was, whoa, big fella. Like that, I couldn't believe what I was in Las Vegas when the Nogueira brothers first touched down in America. There was a bus this is a true story. There was a bus that pulled up to a red light, and Little Nog tried to feed it a carrot while Big Nog was petting it. He thought it was a horse. This really happened. Do you believe me that happened?
Not really.
He tried to feed a bus a carrot, and now you're telling me that country has computers? I didn't know that. I did not know that.
When's the last time you went to Brazil?
I was just there.
Right. Will you be in Brazil with Yushin when he fights Anderson?
Do you remember when I said he fed the bus a carrot?
I do.
Were you even listening? Is this thing on? Is this on? And then the other one was petting the bus saying, whoa, big fella. He thought it was a horse. The way years work is whatever age you are, if years go by, you're now older. And it's one of those concepts, right? I mean, you either get it or you don't. It's one of those concepts that when you're a certain age, years later, you're no longer that age. You're now at a different age. And that age is known as older. I mean, you see where this is relevant, right?
3-minute run. Why don't we use that same as on focus myth? Actually doing something that I will be doing. Why would I run as a way of preparing for something else when I could just do that something else? Why? And that will be a very difficult one for anybody reasonable to answer. So then they're going to go in, they're going to jump rope. They're going to jump rope. They're going to jump rope. Why are you jumping rope? Footwork. Footwork for what? There's nothing within that fight where I'm jumping up and down. There is a lot of footwork I got to be moved for sure there is. But instead of jumping rope for 25 minutes, why doesn't a guy just do the actual footwork that he's doing? Why doesn't he actually just move around? He can do it faster. He can really try to get that conditioning up. What about jumping rope? You don't have a rope, and you don't jump in that same fashion in the competition. So instead of wasting that 25 minutes jumping rope, why don't you do something that resembles the actual competition? And you will not have a reasonable person that can give you a reasonable answer. The same answer will be the same from everybody, which is, this is what I used to do. When I was an athlete, I did this, and now I'm a coach, I'm going to make you do this. I've seen other people do it, and this is the way it's done. Fair enough.
Why you always say bad things about our people and especially about our country?
Because I am attempting to pick a fight with some Brazilian fighters. Not fighters that care about you, Brazil. Fighters who have abandoned you. Fighters that claim they're from Brazil, like Vanderlei Silva, but he lives in a gated community in Las Vegas. He drives the Aston Martin. Do you guys even know what that is? That's what James Bond drove. It cost $200 grand. Vanderlei could have bought a fully loaded Lexus, drove around in style for $41,000, sent $159 grand back to your country, built 2 schools, but he didn't. He didn't send you $159 grand. He didn't send you $159. He didn't send you 159 cents. He left you, abandoned you, and now he lives in America. Anderson loves to claim Brazil. He just put $2 million down on a high-rent mansion in Los Angeles. I apologize to the Brazilian people that your heroes left you.